Hello. In this video, we will discuss the concept of composite and mixed supply. This video is useful for CA intermediate student. Before going into the details of composite and mixed supply, let's see what is the relevance of this concept of composite and mixed supply. In India, we are not having one GST rate. There are different GST rate, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. Therefore, the classification is become extremely important. A bona fide mistake in classification. For example, your product is chargeable to tax classified at 28%, but you made a bona fide mistake and levied and classified under 18%. After 3 years, GST officer issued a notice that you have to pay 10% differential amount because your product is chargeable to tax at 28%. See the now you made the supply. The customer is not traceable. Now you need to pay differential 10% plus interest and penalty if there is any. Therefore, the classification is very relevant. It's like do or die. Difference between good business and bad business. In CGST Act, goods is defined as every kind of movable property, and service is defined as anything other than goods is service. It means whether it is service, then you have to first see whether it is goods. If not, then it is service. Now come to the topic of composite and mixed supply. A composite supply. Section 230 of CGST Act defined composite supply. Composite supply means two or more taxable supply of goods or services or both. They are naturally bundled and the price breakup may be available or price breakup may not be available. One of the item in that bundle, one of the item is a principal supply. Then the whole bundle will take the color of the principal supply. That is the GST rate, HSN, time of supply, other provisions of the GST will apply to that bundle which is applicable to the principal supply. Let's take an example that a stapler is sold along with stapler pins. Stapler is chargeable to tax at the rate of 18%. Stapler pins are chargeable to tax at the rate of 28%. And it is available in a bundle. Then in the whole bundle will be treated as it is a supply of stapler. And GST rate at the rate of 18% is chargeable to tax. So supply of pin is a supplementary supply, is a secondary supply. It will take color of principal supply. It is not having a separate existence. Another example is a hotel stay. In a hotel stay, a breakfast is available as complimentary. So the principal supply is accommodation. Along with that, the breakfast is available. So breakfast or the food is not chargeable to tax separately. It will be chargeable to tax with a larger service of accommodation. And the mixture should not be between goods and goods or service and service. It may be between goods and services. For example, sale of material, along with that a transportation service has been given. Then the transportation is a secondary supply. Supply of material is a principal supply. Then this service element will lose its identity and the whole bundle will be treated as sale of material. Now let's see what is mixed supply. Section 274 define mixed supply. It means there is also two or more supply of goods or services or both for a single price, and supply is not naturally bundled. There is no concept of principal supply. and the GST rate is applicable to the whole bundle of one of the element which is having the highest rate, and other provisions of the GST law will also apply to the bundle in the manner in which the highest rate applies. So for example, the Diwali gift is given. There are chocolates and dry fruits. I didn't see in the classification. Suppose a chocolate is taxable at the rate of 18% and dry fruits is taxable at the rate of 12%. Then the whole supply will be treated as if it is one, and it will be chargeable to tax at the rate of 18%. If you read section 274 mixed supply, you won't get the idea that mixed supply means not naturally bundled. However, if you read it within juxtaposition with composite supply, then you will get the idea that mixed supply means not naturally bundled. Now this takes me to the concept of what is meant by naturally bundled. Naturally bundled is not defined in the Act. Naturally bundled means how the product is sold in the market among the competitors. What is a normal commercial practice? If you want to buy two things together, whether it is normally available in the market together, the test is not what is a maximum sales. For example, a a mosquito repellent machine and a refill. Maximum sale may be of that liquid. But if you want to buy the machine and liquid together, whether among the competitors it is available or not, that is the deciding factor. Maximum sale is not a deciding factor. One cannot be used for other. For example, stapler and pins. One cannot be used for without other. Is not a test. The only one test is whether these products are available in the market together. What is a commercial practice? Among the competitors, if these two products are available, usually sold together, then it is composite supply. Otherwise, it is not a composite supply. This is the only test to decide whether they are naturally bundled or not. Again, among the competitors in the market, whether there is a commercial practice, usual practice to sell these together. That is a test. The test is not what is a maximum sale. The test is not what cannot be used for other. The test is how it is available in the market among the competitors. What is a commercial practice? What is a usual practice? If they sell these things together, then it is composite supply. This takes me to the next, that classification between goods and services. In excise regime, there are two case laws of Supreme Court that how to classify between goods and services. There was a chassis, truck chassis was supplied, and there was a catalog available. From the catalog, you need to select a bus body, and the bus body is erected. Bus body is lift on the chassis and split. So Supreme Court in Patna Eyebrows held that this is sale of bus body. However, see, what is this in this case? That the bus body was ready-made available. It is just lifted on the chassis and packed. Therefore, the fitting of the bus body on the chassis, that service is ancillary to the supply of bus body. And the whole will be treated as supply of goods, that is bus body. However, this is held by Supreme Court in Patna Eyebrows. However, if the bus body is erected on the chassis brick by brick in parts, it is not ready-made available. It is erected on the chassis brick by brick, then it is supply of service. This is held by Supreme Court in Kailas Engineering. So this is a difference between goods and service. Next is in a schedule 2 CGST Act. Schedule 2 define certain activities, certain supply is to be treated as supply of goods or is to be treated as supply of service. This is deemed. In that, the entry is supply of goods by way of or as a part of service or in any other manner, then it is to be treated as service. There is an advance ruling, Delhi advance ruling, that if the pack food is available on the railway platform, preheated pack food, it's like takeaway, it is supply of goods, because even if there is an entry in the schedule 2 that supply of food by way of a service or as a part of service is a service, and food is not existing separately. However, if it is packed food, over counter it is sold, that is you pay, you take, it is a takeaway, then it is to be treated as supply of goods, not supply of service. Then when it is treated as supply of food, as supply of service, suppose you go to the restaurant there and you order the food, you will not become the proud owner of food. You eat the food there and then only. Then the supply of food itself is by way of a service. Therefore, it is to be treated as supply of service or supply of food as a part of larger part of service. For example, just we discussed, in a hotel there is accommodation and food is supplied as a breakfast, as a complimentary it is supplied. Then the whole bundle will be treated as supply of service. Food will not be separately classified. In any other manner needs to be read in conjunction with supply of food by way of or as a part of service and not separately. This is a rule of interpretation. It is called isdom generis. Okay. Next topic. This is little tricky. We'll give a separate video on what is exempt supply, but just as a passing reference, composite supply means two or more taxable supply. And taxable supply will include exempt supply, but taxable supply will not include non-taxable supply. Non-taxable supply means there is no levy under section 9 of CGST Act, that is alcohol for human consumption, natural gas, petroleum, etc. Okay, so if there is a transportation of milk from one place to another and milk is chargeable to tax in a GST tariff at zero rate, at nil rated, it is exempt. So the supply of milk, the transportation will lose its identity and it will be treated as a supply of milk. The whole bundled will be chargeable to tax at nil rate, exempt. However, if there is a supply of alcohol for human consumption from one place to another, then alcohol is not a taxable supply. Taxable supply include exempt supply, but taxable supply will not include non-taxable supply. Alcohol is outside the purview of GST. Therefore, the service, this is not a composite supply. The service element exists separately. You need to pay the GST on that services. This is we discussed the concept of composite and mixed supply. For any question relating to GST, you can contact me. This is my mail ID. My cell phone is 8080980684. You can call me between 9:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. I will surely answer your questions. Thank you.